All right, hopefully third time's a charm. This is Roxy Young, and I'm at the Hipmunk. It might be fun to tell you a little bit about Hipmunk, give you a tour of the office, and let you ask some questions. The internet connection is really poor in the lobby, surprisingly, so apologies, I got cut off. So before we go into the doors of the Hipmunk office, thought I might show you some fun Hipmunk swag that we have. All right, here we go. I'm gonna zoom in. These are some fun postcards, how to dance like a Hipmunk. And you can't go on a flight without these amazing Hipmunk eye masks to block out the sun or any annoying fluorescent lights on an airplane. The Hipmunk luggage tag. Who doesn't love a Hipmunk luggage tag? Some fun stickers and the Hipmunk Travel Essentials pack. So the reason that I'm showing you guys the swag is one of the things that we do is when people comment or talk about us on social media, we send them a fun swag pack with a t-shirt and we tell them that they got Hipmunked. So how cool is that? All right, we're gonna walk in the door. Bike racks. Big rooms, light tables. Pool table. Hipmunk pinata. This was from and this is fun. Tell us what you're doing.
Oh, I'm teaching a Chinese class.
Fun, awesome. An after hours activity, right?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I know, I was just talking. All right. Okay, and let me show you guys the real Hipmunk. And here's the Hipmunk. It's actually on a mannequin, but we do have people wear it from time to time and go out and do really fun things. All right. All right, so hi everyone, I'm Roxy, and it was a little loud out there, so I hope you guys can hear me. We're just giving you guys a tour of the Hipmunk office in San Francisco. Your typical startup office, ping pong tables, bike racks, pool tables, lots of writing on the whiteboard, saw a fun pinata, and the Hipmunk mascot. I'd love to maybe tell you guys a little bit about Hipmunk. So Hipmunk is a technology company focused on solving travel problems. And one of the most agonizing travel problems is trying to find the best flight options. And when you think about the best flight option, you're not only thinking about when do I want to leave and when do I want to arrive and how much is it going to cost, but am I going to have any layovers? And so one of the things that Hipmunk did that was really unique and innovative when it launched was they did an agony sort. And so they took into account both price and duration, and it was fantastic because they laid it all out in a really nice visual display, and then you can easily make trade-offs. Maybe you were willing to pay an extra $20 so you wouldn't have a 3-hour layover. And so the agony feature was one of the most interesting, unique, and differentiated features that put it on the map. We like to say, don't let planning travel drive you nuts, because Hipmunk eats nuts. And so it's kind of our little funny saying that has now turned into a tagline. In addition to flights, Hipmunk also has a hotel product as well as cars and packages. The hotel product is great in that it has these interactive heat maps that show you zones for dining, shopping, vices, which are, bars and things like that. And so you can easily find hotels that you're looking for in these color-coded heat map zones in case you are interested in any one of those particular areas. You can also do searches by point of interest. So if you want to stay near a particular point of interest or geographic landmark, then you can type that in and you can easily find it. And we also have vacation rentals, which, as most of you guys know, has been an exploding market. And we were the first to offer Airbnb and are still the only metasearch site, actually, I think metasearch or online travel agency that offers Airbnb. So when you're searching for accommodations, you'll find both Airbnb and HomeAway in our search, which is exciting. You can also find Hipmunk when you are on Yahoo Travel or when you are looking around for travel or any other accommodation related items on Yelp. So if you go to Yahoo Travel, we are sitting at the top and we power Yahoo Travel, which is fantastic and a great way that more and more people are becoming aware of Hipmunk. And if you are looking at hotels and perhaps comparing reviews on Yelp, when you book, you'll be actually booking through Hipmunk and it'll bring you over to Hipmunk. And a lot of that activity that's happening on Yelp is actually happening on mobile, which is fantastic. So speaking of mobile, our mobile app has been recognized and has won many accolades for its simple and intuitive design. We have a lot of information that we need to display as it relates to travel planning and booking, and to be able to show that in a succinct way so that it's easy for people to view choices and understand choices quickly in a small form factor is a challenge. And I think Hipmunk has done that really well and the industry's taken notice. So if you haven't, you should download the Hipmunk app and start playing around. We have mobile-only hotel deals, so if you are searching for hotels on your mobile device and are planning on booking in the next, I think it's 24 hours, then you'll find some special mobile-only prices that have deep discounts. So be sure and check that out when you're looking for a last-minute deal on accommodations. I think in terms of things that are we're thinking about next here at Hipmunk is really just continuing to improve on travel planning and booking, the whole process. We recently rolled out something called trip planning, which is something pretty simple when you think about it, but a lot of people run tens of searches, tens of thousands of searches for the same thing just over and over again. So SFO to Vegas, and this will continue on for a week or 2 weeks when you're trying to plan a trip. And so what we did was something really simple, which was, hey, do you want to save this route? Great, we'll save it, and then we'll that way you can access it and you can come back and you can see easily what the price was and if the price has changed, in addition to just receiving fare alerts. But if you have several trips that you're planning at one time, as many people do, a wedding, a holiday, a getaway, to have all of your saved searches in one place, so you can just quickly open that saved search folder and not have to, type in over the same things over and over again. You can just pull that up, see what your last search date was, refresh it, rerun it, see what the last price was, and then you can actually add hotels into that as well, and favorite particular hotels, favorite particular flight itineraries, bring those up on your mobile device, and it's a seamless interaction. And so it was something that was also agonizing. And so in an attempt to continue to take the agony out of travel, this was another observation that we made, was that people were just searching, thousands and thousands of times for the same flight over and over again. And so we found a way to make it really easy. All right, so I think maybe I'll chat a little bit about myself. So in case for those of you who just tuned in and didn't catch me earlier, I'm Roxy Young, and I run marketing at Hipmunk. And Hipmunk is a startup that is technology focused on making travel planning simple and delightful, and really taking the agony out of all the complicated, irritating things that you run into when you are planning and booking travel. And from a marketing perspective, I love it because it's an amazing consumer brand. The Hipmunk mascot is a chipmunk, and funny story about the name. They were searching for names that related to travel and trips, and all of them were taken or really expensive, and so they decided to find a small animal because they thought that they could make a really cute mascot. And so after typing in several small animals, they landed on Hipmunk, and by taking the C off of chipmunk, and so there you have it. There wasn't any really great marketing. I've been in consumer marketing for about 15 years, and love Hipmunk because it's an opportunity to build a consumer brand in, I think, one of the world's largest categories, which is travel. And so one of the big challenges we have right now is travel is a crowded and competitive space. So we are trying to, as a marketing team, we're trying to find new and interesting ways to reach that next generation traveler. We believe that that next generation traveler, we're going to reach them with new channels, a new marketing playbook that includes content and social and community, and the days of people sitting in front of their television and hearing about brands in that way has really changed and evolved. And so we want to be leading the charge on all of those new channels that this next generation traveler is looking to and is engaging with on a daily basis, and have a really authentic brand experience that helps tell the Hipmunk story. So definitely a challenge, because we are trying to find low-cost, unique, innovative ways to spread the word when we can't spend millions and millions of dollars like many other brands, but there's a lot of really fun stuff that we've been able to do. So one of the examples that I gave you guys at the start was just simple swag, giving people luggage tag, giving people stickers when they're out there and they're on social. It's just a fun way and encourages word of mouth. And something like as simple as a luggage tag, they put it on their bag, they take pictures of it, they tweet at us. So yes, everybody loves swag, and it's this very authentic and organic way that people that love Hipmunk are spreading the word on our behalf, which is fantastic. And so we're continuing to look to fun and interesting ideas like that that encourage people to spread the word. One of the other things that we've been doing is utilizing the content and the data that we do have. So as a meta search player, we have information from lots of different airlines, information from all kinds of hotels, and today's savvy next generation traveler is really well informed and likes to be well informed. And so we've taken a lot of interesting data that we have and packaged it up and put it out on the blog and spread it out through media channels, things like free Wi-Fi indexes, free hotel breakfast indexes, so that you always know, where can you have free breakfast, what's pet friendly, and so, simple things that we can do with the data that we have available to us as a provider that aggregates choices for people to identify the option that's best for them. Have also done some stuff recently with well-known people and asked them what's on their carry-on. So we spoke with the reigning top chef Melissa King, and we said, hey, what's in your carry-on? And so it's just been an interesting way to take a look at how people travel, and if they have any tips, and are surfacing those as nice complements to the travel planning and booking process, and giving people just some interesting dimension around travel. One of the things that is most important to Hipmunk is delivering delight. It's our core value, and so when you are searching around the site, and let's say you accidentally type in a date that in the wrong order, and we'll give you a funny message like time travel to the past is not yet supported, and just try and be delightful whenever possible. We think that many of the other travel brands out there are very functional, they're very utilitarian, and so adding a little bit of delight and a little bit of personality is something that we try and do at every consumer touch point. Let's see, what else have I not hit on? All right. So I think one of the things I wanted to comment on is there was this phase, 3 or 4 years ago, where the growth hacker was all the rage, and everybody wanted to hire a growth hacker and growth hack their way. And I always thought it was kind of funny, because growth hacking is really just marketing, and I think good growth hackers are really just good marketers. And in order to growth hack, you actually have to say, who am I trying to target, and where can I find lots of those people, and how can I reach them at scale and get them to engage. And so fundamentally, if that's growth hacking, that's really good marketing. And so it's kind of interesting to see how I think growth hacking has really evolved back into marketing. From a career path standpoint, I actually started my career in 2000 at the Gap, and so it was right after the .com bust, and ironically, I think it was one of the best things that ever happened, because working at the Gap when all these .com companies had just gone belly up, I actually had to learn how to market a product and how to create a brand that people had an emotional connection to. And so although we were filling a functional role of giving you options for clothing, we had to elevate the brand and give people a reason to have an emotional connection to it. And so I was at the Gap for 4 years, and when you are selling clothes that largely look similar to clothes that people can find at J. Crew or Old Navy or Banana Republic, learning how to market a product that is a very discretionary product was fantastic. How do you talk about it? What words do you use? Yes, you did get free clothes, which was pretty cool. And I also got to work on a lot of really interesting projects. So, for example, in the early 2000s, that was the advent of very premium priced denim, and so Gap for the longest time had sold jeans for $49.99, and all of a sudden people are buying $100 jeans. And so I got to work on a promotion. The task at hand was, well, how do we elevate Gap denim and how do we make it something that's covetable and premium. And so what we did is we rolled out a new line of 1969 denim. The denim was sourced from Japan, so it was really high quality denim. And we tried to figure out, well, how are we going to get people to even be willing to try this? It's double the price of the average pair of jeans at the Gap. And so interestingly, Apple was launching iTunes at the time, and so we did a promotion with them where if you tried on a pair of jeans, you could get a free iTunes download. So we called it "Try One On, Get One Down," and seems so long ago now, but it was a win for us because it got people to try on these jeans and to actually feel them and see themselves in them. And it was a win for Apple because Gap had 1,100 stores, which was massive reach for them. And so I think we were probably one of the only partners that would have given him the reach and the scale to get the word out about iTunes early in the digital music days. After the Gap, I went to Netflix very early on. It was in 2004, so they had just gone public. I believe they were closing in on 3 million subscribers. It was a phenomenal experience to learn how to market a product that was a completely new and revolutionary way that people were consuming content. And so I remember, at the time, we were really, really concerned about Blockbuster. And so to think now that we completely took down an entire business is pretty amazing. To have been part of the team that was there during the time when we waged a price war against Blockbuster. And one of the things that I got to work on, and I was really passionate about it from the day that I walked in the door, was thinking about how do we price our product and our service so that we can get massive consumer adoption while making it, like, believe it or not, there is such a thing as a price that's too low. When people have when they're putting in a credit card and there's a recurring charge, there is, a point at which they would rather just, pull a couple dollars out of their pocket and, buy something, ad hoc or a la carte when they want to. And so we did tons of price testing. When I got there, the lowest price was $17.99, and I think when I left a few years later, we had a $7.99 plan. $9.99 was the number one plan. And so to be able to research pricing, roll out pricing, test pricing, watch the power of pricing plus a superior product offering take down Blockbuster was an awesome experience. And it's just, I remember Reed Hastings saying in 10 years, and this was in 2004, mind you, so in 10 years we will rival the premium cable channels. We will rival HBO. We will rival Showtime. We will have the largest subscriber base. And when we have the largest subscriber base, we will be able to offer exclusive content, premium content. And so yes, absolutely visionary. And I think I just picked up Fast Company last week, and to see the cover of Fast Company say something like how HBO will win against Netflix just kind of gave me pause to look back and think about everything that was happening during the time that I was there from 2004 to 2006. It was just crazy to see how much, just how people can't live without Netflix. And so it was an amazing consumer brand to grow and to be a part of. I was there when we were very, very early on in thinking about streaming. We knew that streaming was going to be the future, but we weren't sure exactly what the technology would be. We also weren't sure how that was going to impact consumption. How should we think about pricing? And so we did some really, really funny ethnographic studies where we sat in people's houses and we had them tally movies, and just kind of trying to figure out like what was consumption going to be when people could just press a button and watch any movie. Would they watch more? Would they watch the same? Would they watch less? I don't remember exactly how many people were at the company in those days, but I think it was, several hundred, maybe, I don't know, something 300 or 400, something like that. And one of the great things that that Netflix did, which I thought was awesome, is we weren't, a culture of perks, but every year the company would go to Sundance, and so you would get this preloaded Visa debit card, and it had, I think, like $1,500 on it, and you could use it towards your flight and towards tickets and accommodations. And so every January the company would go out to the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, and we would do a big party with one of the movie studios, and it was just an awesome way to celebrate film and what we were able to accomplish. So was probably one of the best, even though we didn't have free lunch, was one of the best perks that I've ever had at any of the companies I've ever worked at. So after Netflix, I went to work for Sephora. And for those of you guys who don't know Sephora, Sephora is a French-owned company. It's a beauty and cosmetics store. They're owned by LVMH, which is a large French conglomerate of luxury brands. And the thing that's awesome about Sephora is Sephora for most women, just conjures up this amazing emotional connection. People love Sephora, and so as a marketer working for Sephora, it was just fantastic. You said Sephora and people's eyes would light up and they would just go crazy. And so what we did that was different was we gave women this very, very tactile sensory experience. And so you would walk into the store, and one of the best comments ever in a focus group was, Sephora is like a candy store for adults. And so you could just walk into this store and all of the music was bumping, and you had all these smells and scents, and you could try everything on, and there was nobody high pressure selling you. You could touch everything, you could feel everything, you could smell everything, you could try everything. And so unlike a department store where you were standing above this glass case and you had to ask somebody in this white jacket if you could try something, and then by the time you know it, you were sitting in a chair and they were trying to sell you $200 or $300 worth of cosmetics. Sephora was very different. And so that was a phenomenal experience, just insofar as consumers loved the brand, and that's always fun. So one of the things that I did while I was there is I worked for Sephora.com, and we had just launched the Beauty Insider program, which was the loyalty program. And so we had all of this data on our customers. And so I was able to take the data and cluster it in such a way that we were able to learn these really, really interesting patterns about customers. So there were customers that only shopped for skincare. There were customers that replenished certain things online, but then would actually go into the store and buy, some of the more fun, add-on items. There were customers that only bought certain brands and not other brands. And so we had this wealth of data before, the phrase or the term big data was a thing. So, sorry, someone's pinging me with a message. We had this wealth of information before big data was even a thing, and so we were able to start to cluster patterns and behaviors of customers, and it influenced how we merchandise things on the site, in our catalog, in the store, drove cross-selling. So was just an amazing experience to be able to take a lot of really like interesting data, shopping data, for cosmetics, and as a female who is a marketer and definitely leans towards the analytical side of things, like what better data set to have than to have cross-channel shopping data for cosmetics. And it was great to be able to see how that data influenced the way in which we did things, and we're able to, satisfy customers and make more money doing it, which was great. Another cool thing that launched while I was at Sephora was it's not always possible for Sephora to be in every single metropolitan area. They're in the major metro areas, but for some of the smaller markets, we would roll out a Sephora inside of a JCPenney. And so if a local mall had a JCPenney inside of it, we would take up some real estate and offer a really small footprint with our best-selling items. And so it was a great way to continue to extend the Sephora brand and make it accessible to women in all markets, not just major urban markets. After Sephora, I went to Zynga. So the crazy roller coaster that was Zynga. I got there in late 2009. One of my famous quotes was, I think in my interview, I said, "This is a farm nomenon," and I don't think people thought it was nearly as funny as I did, but I actually thought it was pretty funny. So the farm nomenon was taking over everyone's Facebook feed. So there's just so many fantastic memories of working at Zynga, both good and bad. And I think if anybody out there listening ever has an opportunity to work in just a very, very high growth, hyper growth opportunity, it's once in a lifetime, and they're gonna have things that you experience that you'll never have a chance to experience anywhere else. And so everything was an opportunity, and so learning to identify which opportunities to tackle when everything is an opportunity was a great skill. I also witnessed just some of the most brilliant minds thinking about uncharted territory. So we didn't know, there was no such thing as social gaming. Facebook was brand new. There were no rules. There was no playbook. We didn't know right from wrong. We just, were doing what we needed to do to continue to grow and make, more people play our games. And so I love looking back and just thinking about, sitting around late at night or during lunch or during dinner. Yes, we had free dinner. We had free breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and just any idea was on the table. Like there was no bad ideas. Nobody knew any better than anyone else, and so I'm sure for all you guys, when you thinking back to Zynga bombarding your news feed, Facebook didn't really even know what to do with us, and that's what was kind of funny about the whole thing, is that Facebook knew that we brought people to Facebook every single day. And so in the early days of Facebook, if you didn't have all of your friends on it and they weren't posting, but you were playing Farmville because you had to water your crops and harvest your harvest all of the different things that you were planting, that gave them stickiness, that gave them page views, that gave them, advertising impressions. But at the same time, we were just blasting all of their viral channels. And so Facebook gave us access to many different ways in which we could get in front of consumers. We could get in the feed. We could publish, requests through the request system. They very quickly turned off the notifications because I think we were notifying people about things multiple times a day, and so I think they ultimately ended up putting restrictions on that. But we had some really, really clever product managers that just found interesting ways to convince people to try a Zynga game. Lonely Cow was probably the most famous, but if you ever had a Lonely Cow that was in your news feed, it was our ploy to try and get you to, you know, buy into your psychology that you need to kind of help this Lonely Cow and play Farmville. One of the coolest promotions I worked on when I was at Zynga was for Mafia Wars. So Mafia Wars was rolling out their biggest ever content release. It was the city of Las Vegas, and so it was a whole new set of levels, a whole new set of challenges. And so as a marketing team, we got together with the product team and we said, wow, how can we make this bigger, larger than life, and not just, you know, a content release. And so what we did is we came up with this fantastic concept to challenge the community of Mafia Wars players. They were so passionate, and so we set a goal and we said, hey, you know, if we can get 1 million people to basically wait behind the gates of Las Vegas, then we would open the gates to Vegas, let people start playing, and we also told the crowd that if they would hit that milestone, we would give something back. And so we used the power of the virals to have people spread the word on our behalf. And sure enough, the community acted. They couldn't wait to play the game or the new content. And so what we did is we decided to give the community back something, and we blew up a Hummer in the desert in Las Vegas, tying into the Vegas theme. Snoop Dogg pressed the trigger, and we streamed it live on Ustream, and I think still to this day, I think it was the largest number of concurrents ever on Ustream was to watch Snoop Dogg press the button and blow up this truck, this Hummer truck in the desert in Las Vegas. But the community was thrilled. They got into Vegas. They were able to play all new levels, and they were able to tune in and just kind of watch the Las Vegas content come to life. Let's see. I'm closing in. After Zynga, I went to a small startup. It was a Series A. Had a really fun time there. Two-sided marketplace. All I'll comment is that two-sided marketplaces are really hard, and so it was a two-sided marketplace. And in a two-sided marketplace, you really have to fake one side of the market until you can get traction and start to get liquidity. But the concept was that people would pay monetary rewards to have other people help them on a variety of different things. And so the company was called Rewarder, and we had a few challenges. The first challenge was what kind of use cases were going to produce both the most supply and the most demand. Where would we have equilibrium that we could support? And when we started to think about use cases, it was like, all right, well, it has to be a pain point, enough of a pain point such that people would want to pay. And then secondarily, it has to be something that isn't legal or doesn't need to be regulated. And so that basically, left us with these semi-professional type of use cases like, electronics device help, car, auto expertise, things like that. And was a great, interesting experience, but also learned the hard way that it's hard to get a company off the ground. It's hard to get a two-sided marketplace, to liquidity. And after that, decided to come to Hipmunk, which is where I'm sitting now, sitting at the Hipmunk office. Trying to figure out how do we continue to delight people and make travel planning, agony free. Hipmunk is about 5 years old, and I've been here for closing in on a year. I'm about at 11 months. So hoping that I was able to shed some light on Hipmunk and what we're all about, and 15 years in the life of a consumer marketer for a variety of different categories, a variety of different brands. Hopefully it's been interesting and insightful for you. The team here at the marketing team here at Hipmunk is pretty small. We're 8 people, but we get a lot done with 8 people, and hopefully you come check it out or download the app and give us an opportunity to delight you. All right. Thanks, everyone.